Hey friend, I have got some patriotic projects to work on and I thought I would ask you to join. It's getting close. I need to start wrapping up 4th of July and moving on to fall, I think. So hang with me. I'm going to pull up comments here so that I can see if you're on. So if you are on with me, would you just say hello? And we will get going. All right, so here's what I've got to work on. I have been kind of playing, doing this bit by bit because it does take a little bit of time, this wreath. But I'm almost to the end and I wanted to just show you how this works. So I've got a straw wreath. I didn't even take the plastic off. And I have taken several bandanas, like, I don't know, I think 6 of them from Hobby Lobby. And I have created these strips. Now to cover up the wreath so you don't see any of the straw, I'm just wrapping a strip around. And then I'm taking another strip to tie. And that didn't work so well. Let's see, let me tuck that underneath there. And we'll get it secured down with a tie. And then I'm just going to be adding some more to tie. And you can see I'm almost done. So tell me, do you guys decorate for the 4th of July? I am all decked out. I've got the banners on my front of my house. I have banners on the back porch. The interior of my house has all sorts. 4th of July is as much of a decor explosion in my house as fall and Christmas are. And so I've got lots and lots. And you can never have enough, right? Okay, the trouble with this is dealing with all the strings. There's lots of strings, but I've just got a few more of these to go, and then we're going to move on to the next step, which I'm going to turn my little iron on here. Actually, I'm going to take a moment of a break here because I can have this drying while we're finishing up. Hi, Stephanie. No decorations for you, huh? Well, I've made up for it. I've got so many out. Okay, so this is one of our rectangle simple shapes, and I am putting a coat of Mod Podge on because we're going to decoupage a napkin on here. And so this can be drying while I finish the wreath. And when you tilt it in the light, you can see and make sure you've got it covered everywhere. It's kind of hard to hold on to now that I started it here. But I want to make sure there's coverage everywhere. Okay, that looks good. So I can set that down now. Okay, so back to this. Like I said, this is a straw wreath that I'm just wrapping strips of torn bandana around and making it as full as I can. I've done this type of wreath several different ways. On one wreath, I used a wire wreath, and it was thin enough that I could do a loop, like tying it this way in that kind of a knot, whatever knot that is, I don't even know. This one, I didn't really have enough room to do that, so I'm literally just tying it. And I know it looks like I'm out of whack here with the colors, too much blue there, but then I'll just go back and put a red one on there, and that way I just can get it super full. So that looks good there. I think I've really only got 1 or 2 more strips to tie. Today is a beautiful day here in KC. I mean, it's like perfect. The temperature is maybe in the 80s. Doesn't seem to be any humidity. Oh my gosh, I could live all summer long like this. I don't think I'm going to get to, though. What's the weather like where you are? Hey, if you're watching the replay, I would love if you would simply comment replay and tell me if you have 4th of July decor up. And that always helps the reach when there's more comments and conversation going on. Okay, 1 more and I think we're good. That seems like too fat of a red stripe there, so we're going to put another blue one in here. Move it over a smidge. Doesn't need to be perfect. And depending on how it lays, you might need to trim up a little bit, which you can go around and do, but this looks really pretty good. So I'm going to leave, for the most part, and I'm going to trim right here. I don't want to trim too much because I really like having the frayed edges at the end. But here it is, all finished, and it's short enough that I don't think I'm really going to have to spray it with a stiffening spray. Let's see if you can see this one I've got up here at the top. See that one? This one has such bigger pieces that come out that I definitely had to spray that one with some stiffening spray. But this one, different. Now on that one up there, I used a circle. On this one here, we're going to use a rectangle. Now, it didn't quite dry, so I'm going to just speed up the process here. Get that Mod Podge dry. I got it on a little thick because it's taken a minute to dry here. Yeah, that's what they're saying here too, is that it's going to get really hot over the weekend. But I will take today. Oops, I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to do this so I can see you up in the corner. Or you can see me actually. Okay, so I think I'm going to be setting this somewhere like that. I'm going to set it aside. I have this really fun napkin. And, whoa, get some things out of the way. I have a corsage pin that I find really helps to separate the napkin, because you want to get all the layers separated, or you at least want to get, like this one, it's working well because I'm actually getting just the top layer. There's 2 layers here and the 1 layer here, and that's all I want. Now I'm going to position it, and I'm going to use some of the stripes. And I have my little craft iron here, which I love. One of the best investments, not having to get out the big heavy iron, but being able to do a project like this, because this is my favorite way to Mod Podge. Oh, I got a little string underneath there. Oh well. You can kind of see it through the white. I don't think it'll make a difference. So what you're doing here is you're heating up that Mod Podge that you had laid down and dried. And now we're melting it with the heat. And so then the thin layer of napkin is going to be adhered. And you don't get all the wrinkles that sometimes you can get when you just lay a piece of fabric down on the wet Mod Podge. Then I have a sanding block, and I'm just going down, not up and down, just down, and that just takes that thin napkin right off perfectly. Ta-da! Look at that. Oh my goodness, that could be a firecracker. That is so cute. I'm just now seeing, as I turn it this way, it could be a cute firecracker. Okay, I think that next what I'm going to do is put another thin coat of Mod Podge on top. And we're just going to brush that on. And I am going to try and make it thin. And then I'm going to dry that. And then we'll move on to our next step. Okay. There we go. Got that done. And sorry that I have to dry, but that's the way this works. So while we're drying, tell me if you're going to set off any fireworks for the 4th. Do you watch, or do you just set them off? Or do you watch TV and close the windows and doors so you can't hear them? We actually will go and watch some a couple of days ahead of time. My sister and brother-in-law live close enough to their city fireworks that you can see them from their deck. And so we always go over there. So we'll watch there. And now that I don't have little kids, I do not set them off. In fact, I actually never did, but I did watch my kids and husband do it. And we will probably close the doors and get away from it eventually. So how about you? Hi, Tina. You watch and set a few off with your grandkids. How fun is that? Okay, this is a really old transfer, but I love the word freedom that I've got here because it's big and bold. But now since I'm putting it on, I can tell it is super sticky. And even though I put Mod Podge on top of that napkin that we just did, I'm still going to fuzz this a bit. And then we're going to place that right here. And I can't decide. I think I'm going to do it in this cadet. I brought my black over just in case, but I think the cadet is dark enough. So we're going to use this cadet paste and just do the word freedom. All right. Tina, I was just asking everybody if you have 4th of July decor up. Do you have some up? Stephanie replied she didn't. My house has so much it's almost overboard. But I love it. So now I'm being very gentle as I pull back, and look how great that looks. I'm going to just stick this to the edge of my workstation there. And oh, that looks really, really good. I'm going to give it a quick dry. Okay. Now, one thing that I have done recently that I'm kind of liking the way it looks, and I think this needs it a little bit, is I actually am going to take some of my paste. I've got a paper towel here, and I'm going to just dab in. My brush is dry. I dabbed into my chalk paste, and I'm going to get a lot of it off, and then I'm just going to kind of come at the edge and feather it forward. It's almost like an inking technique. Can you see how that looks? Just gives it some nice detail and finished look, I think. And a little goes a long way. You can always add more. And I just like the way it looks. I've been doing this a lot lately on projects. Doesn't that make it look a lot more finished? I love that. Okay, gang. We are moving along here. So if you're just joining, I showed earlier how I made this wreath out of a straw wreath and lots of strips of bandanas that I had torn up and just wrapped it around and tied. And I had found this straw wreath at a garage sale, I think for $2. And then we're going to set that there. Now it's trying to decide if I should center it, if I should have it down low, up high. I kind of am liking centered. Then when you look straight on, which let me show you, then I think you can, I don't know, I just kind of like that. So I think that's what we're going to go with. And I've got my glue gun turned on here. My hefty, amazing glue gun. And so I'm going to put a whole bunch. Oh, it may not be heated up enough. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to put a big blob there. A big blob here. And we're going to press that down. And this piece will be done. Now I've got a couple other projects if you want to stay around and watch. I'm really trying to finish up the 4th of July things that I've kind of got halfway done. I'll turn that glue gun off. It's dripping glue everywhere. That turned out really cute. I was worried that the napkin was going to be too busy, but that's where having the really bold word of freedom just makes it work. Now, one thing that I can do, I think my strings are crazy. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to turn this over. Let's see, it would be hanging right here. So I'm going to turn this over, and where there's, since I'm using blue, where there's a blue string, I'm going to get underneath the knot and tie it good down there, and then we'll do a little loop here so it's got something to hold. So then here's your loop. Oops, you probably couldn't see how I did that. So there we go. Yay. What do you think? I like it a lot. I'm pretty pleased with it. Okay, you want to do another project? I'm going to grab some flags. Oh goodness, I dropped my squeegee on the ground and I've got stuff everywhere. Let me clean that up real quick. Time out. That cadet blue is really a strong color too. I think I got it on my hands as well. That's okay, I'll wash those later. Okay, so project number 2. I have these little cheap flags that I bought, and I stained them with ink to make them look just a little vintage. Now, what I'm going to do next, oh shoot, hold that thought. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to tease you and tell you that I'm going to go over to the VIP page and make this next project. So maybe you'll join me there. So if you have never joined my crafting group, let me see if I have my overlays. No, I think I deleted them. Anyhow, just go to Barband Designs, just click the group thing, and I'll leave a comment pinned to this so you can go over and click and join. And I'm going to do this project over there. So see you in a few.